أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام أيها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome to the show, Ramadan Transition, episode 19. Moving right along during this transition, during the month of Ramadan, the beautiful month of Ramadan, the month of transition, the month of miracles. Now, alhamdulillah, we have just finished step 5, which was to evaluate our overall health. And now we're moving on to step 6. And for those of you who are just joining us, with Allah's permission, we are doing a 7-step transition process through the month of Ramadan. We're doing a 7-step transition process through the month of Ramadan. And it starts with step 1 is to officially retire. Step 2 is to take a break. Step 3 is to either create a schedule and a plan. Step 4 is to get a mentor. Step 5 is to evaluate our overall health. And now, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, with Allah's permission, we are moving on to step 6, which is to control your circle. So what do we mean by everyone says, my circle's small, or, I got this guy's in my circle. He's been in my circle for a long time. It's a very simple question for those in your circle. Everyone in your circle should either be getting you closer to Allah or your goals or your desired results or your objectives. But you're either getting me closer to God or to my goals. That's it. The people in your circle, the individuals in your circles are either getting you closer to God or to your goals. Now, how can you tell? How can you see? How can you see if someone is getting you closer to God or to your goals? This is what you do. Go to your last 5 text messages of people that you regularly interact with and look at their last 5 messages. The last 5 messages that they have sent you. Do they say Allah? Do they mention Allah's name? Do they mention one of your goals or business or attaining wealth or working on a project? If you're in constant contact with people that are not getting you closer to God or your goals, they're taking you away from God and your goals. So you have someone in your car who is actively trying to sabotage the GPS that you set. You know that person that you get in a road trip and you drive in, and the first thing they do is touch the radio? That's what they're doing. That's the first step of disrespect. You driving, but I want to listen to what I want to listen to. And then you say, okay, yeah, you can listen to that. Then they start moving around. They start saying, hey, man, I don't like this GPS, man. I don't like the way she talks. Let's turn it off until we get closer. Okay, we'll turn it off till we get closer. Then they fall asleep, so they don't even keep you company on the road trip. Then you get somewhere and you're like, why are we all the way over here? You didn't turn off the GPS. I think I was supposed to make a left back there, but I made a right. Hey, man, I'm hungry. Hey, pull over right here. No, we still got half a gas tank. No, pull over right here. I'm hungry. They in there doing a whole bunch of stuff. You in there waiting for them. They robbed the place. So now you got someone in your circle who slowly but surely took you away from the straight path, took you away from the destination that you were going for. So it's vitally important that when we're in our transition, we control our circle and who's in it. So again, everyone in your circle should be getting you closer to God or your goals, hopefully both of them. And then there's a little acronym when it comes to controlling your circle, and that's FIFA, just like the soccer. FIFA, family, identity, finances, and attitude. What do we mean by that? Family. Control your circle. Control your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your children, your relationship with those individuals who you consider your family. This doesn't mean physically controlling your children or your spouse. This means controlling my temperament, controlling the way that I interact and respond. Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings to everyone joining in on Instagram. Right now we're talking about the transition and transitioning in the month of Ramadan. And here we're on step 6, which is to control your circle. And remember the acronym FIFA, family, identity, finances, and attitude. Family, identity, finances, and attitude. So family, we talked about controlling our temperament and our relationships, the way that we interact, the way that we connect with our loved ones. Identity, who are you? Who are you? Right now, there is an uproar. There's a misidentity. There's a misidentification of what it means to be identity or to have an identity or to be identified as. I want you to identify me as this, and I want you to identify me as that. Okay. Who would you be if you were on a deserted island all by yourself? Next time someone tells you what they identify as, or I want to be identified as this or as that, and even for yourself, okay, who would you be if you were on a deserted island all by yourself? You're going to stump some people. Why is that? Because we're so used to associating ourselves with a group of people, or with the color of our skin, or with what is or isn't between our legs. But that's not our identity. That's what Allah has given us to help shape our what we already have. But the identity, that's centered. That's a central focus. So ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? That's what we're going to get into. And then the second F, family identity, then finances. Put what's in your financial health tank. We talked about that in step 5. Are you getting halal income, and are you spending in a halal manner? Are you not being miserly, and you're not being overly just kind of loose with your money? And then last thing is attitude. Everything is attitude. Everything is attitude. It starts with a positive attitude. It starts with being optimistic. You know, there are people that say, hey man, I'm not a morning person, but we go to work every morning. We come to the facility every morning, and you say you're not a morning person, and you're wondering why the coach or the teacher or your boss is cussing you out, because you started your day saying that you don't want to be here. So our mindset is everything. So here's a little test for you guys. And this is for my sister Aisha, and inshallah she's tuning in. I love you, Aisha. Ramadan Mubarak. This is the exercise I asked you to do the other day. But what you do is you get a piece of paper and you write down all the things that are occupying your mind right now, like everything. Man, I'm worried about this, and I'm thinking about that, and I'm doing this and doing that. Write down on a piece of paper every single thing that's in your mind, that's ruminating, that you like, man, I can't stop thinking about X, Y, and Z. You write it down. Then you look at that list of thought, that list that you've written down. Man, I'm worried about all this stuff. Man, I'm worried about my parents. I'm worried about if my sister's going to get the job. I'm worried about who the Raiders are going to draft in the NFL draft. Like, I'm writing about all this stuff, whatever it is. So you look at that list, then you get another piece of paper. On the bottom of the piece of paper, then you draw a circle. Draw a pretty big circle. And then what you do is you look at your list, and anything that you can control, that is under your control, you place from the list into the circle. Okay, so I was worried about my finances. I can control my finances. I'm going to put finances in that circle. I was worried about the Raiders draft pick. I have no control over that. So that doesn't go into the circle. So you go down your list and you put what you've been worried about into that circle. And what you'll find is you'll feel a physical and a physiological response, because you realize you're worried about stuff that you have no control over. And then whatever you do have control over, number one, the list will be smaller. Then you say, hey, what's the first thing that I can do? What step can I take right now to assess and to address this, what's in the circle? And like I said, if I'm worried about my finances, I said I can control it. Well, the first thing I can do is I can go look at my bank account. I can go look at my statement from last month. I can look at it from this month and see, where am I spending my money? I can look at my income and I can say, hey, man, how can I supplement my income? So I can do that. I can take control. So that's finances. Or that's just in your circle, again, to de-stress. So we'll go over family. So here's an analogy for you. When you are controlling your circle, the first F is family. So I asked this question: who's in your car? Who's in your car? May Allah protect us. If there were a big catastrophe, if there was a major event that happened, and things were shut down and people were crazy, people moving around, not no zombies. It's always zombies in the movies. But if something happened where you just had to load up the car and go, who would be in your car? Whoever would be in your car, that's the family that is in your circle. That's the family that you focus on. That's the family that you would secure your mask first, and then you help them secure their mask. So whoever that is that would be in your car if a major event happened, now how do we address those relationships? Ask yourself, what is my connection to this individual that's in my car? What's their name? What's their primary love language? And then what fills their emotional love tank? Or how can I connect with them? That's what we do, because we want to ensure that everyone is in our car is wanting to go in the same direction. They want to get to the goal. And we, with Allah's permission, hopefully we all have the same goal. So that's the first F, family. The second one, or the second, the I, F-I-F-A, is identity. How do you see yourself? Like, how do I see myself? That's very important when it comes to identity. Like for me, I see myself as someone who has, number one, people recognize me either as an athlete or a Muslim athlete, or they see me as, someone who went to the pilgrimage, or they see me as hopefully a good teammate. But how do I see myself? When I see myself, I see someone who wants to have fun, remembering Allah with people that he loves. Like, that's it. I see myself as someone who wants to have fun, remembering Allah with people that I love. Now, if I were on an island all by myself and there was no one else, I feel like I would just make stuff. I would be remembering Allah. I would be trying to build something. I'm not very good with my hands, but I would learn. It's just me. So I see myself with a creative spirit, remembering Allah. Like, that's how I see myself. If I were on a deserted island all by myself, may Allah protect us, I feel like I would just find a way to create stuff and remember Allah at the same time. Like, that would bring me joy. Then again, like I said, how do others see you? Others see me as, an athlete. They see me as someone who likes to work out. So this is a good exercise you can ask someone. Hey, how do you see me? When you look at me, what do you see? What do you think? Because sometimes, and a lot of times, the way you see yourself and the way other people see you can be totally different. And if that's the case, like one time I had to ask my children, hey, when you look at Dad, when you look at Abu, when you look at Baba, what do you see? They said, well, sometimes you're fun. Other times you're not. I said, okay, well, when am I not fun? When you tell us to go to bed. So when I tell them to go to bed, I'm not fun. So their view could be a little skewed. May Allah protect our children. But I said, okay, well, what would make it more fun? If we got to play a game before we went to bed, okay. So now before bed, we're going to play pretend. Or we're going to play, some small game that's not electronics, but something that won't just wind them all the way up before bed. And they like the stories too. Of course, I have to create my own stories. Well, they end up getting out of bed and spanking me sometimes. May Allah protect our children. But it can be different the way others see you. And then the big one is, how do you want Allah to see you? In our identity, how do we want Allah to see us? Imagine you're standing before Allah. And this is a beautiful visualization exercise. So if you're listening, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath and imagine this scenario. Imagine this scene. I'm going to set the stage for you. Bi-idhnillah ta'ala, with Allah's permission. Imagine you're standing before Allah and he's saying how pleased he is with you. Because when you were tested, when it was the quarantine, when it was the pandemic, when we came out of the pandemic, it was Ramadan 1443, it was 2022, and you were in your transition. You were constantly in the remembrance of him. You were constantly reminding others of him. You were constantly doing your best, and you were patient. And he tells you how much he loves you because you stayed true to who you were and you represented the deen with class, with character, with charisma. He tells you that it was your service that elevated you to such a high status. He tells you that it was your consistency and good that he bragged to the angels about you. He says he loves you. He's pleased with you. And he tells you to enter into his Jannah, enter into his paradise. At that moment, how would you feel? At that moment, with Allah telling you he loves you, and he tells you to enter into his inner court. This is the VIP. This is the VIP that people have been waiting in line for millions of years for. And you are the first person to go in. How would you feel? Okay, now ask yourself, how did you get there? What do you believe that you did to get there? There's something that you're working on. There's something that's deep inside of you that's creative, that you feel will help yourself, your family, and the Muslim Ummah, and the community, and the world. There's something you're working on right now. Whatever that is, start so that Allah can brag about you. So that me, your Muslim brother, and your Muslim sisters, we can brag about you and say, that's my brother, that's my sister. So that it's not that we're supporting you. No, because you're the best. That's why when someone says, hey, man, Hamza, I want you to support me, I'm saying, no, I'm not going to support you. I'm going to buy from you because you're the best. I'm not going to support you. I'm going to say you're the best candidate because you're the best. And I'm going to vouch for you and I'm going to cheer for you. So let's transition from supporting people. Support sounds like charity. Like I'm doing it just because you're my Muslim brother. No, I'm doing it because you're the absolute best and I trust you as a leader. So do it. And who are you? That's the question. And then we talked about our finances. It's okay to be rich and wealthy. I'm going to tell you right now. We're in the month of Ramadan and they're asking, this is the month of donations. How can you donate if you don't have it? How can you do it? How can you host an event and you don't own it? You don't own the venue. How can you feed the people and we don't own a place to get the food? We need Muslims to be healthy and wealthy and supportive and leaders in the community and showing other people how to get out of debt, how to get away from these high interest rates. You go for the same car, one has a 5% interest rate, the other has a 25% interest rate, just because they didn't know about the credit game. Astaghfirullah al-Azim, may Allah forgive us and protect us. No. We need Muslim-owned car dealerships so that they can say, hey, no, 0% interest. Come on. I got you. We need Muslims who own apartment buildings, who own real estate. We need that so you can do it the right way. So whatever your passion is, whatever your business is, go and do it 100%. Go do it 100%. Just remember Allah. That's it. Start with Bismillah and end with Alhamdulillah. And know that everything that you got and that you've attained is from Allah and for Allah. That's what we need. So I'm challenging you during your transition, increase in your finances, in your financial education, in your financial literacy. Get that think piece or that thought of being humble. Oh, I'm being humble, that's why I'm broke. No, that's not. Being broke is not being humble. I don't know who told you that lie. That is not true. Just because you're broke doesn't mean you're humble. May Allah forgive us and protect us. And just because you're wealthy doesn't mean you're arrogant. Those are two extremes. What is humility? You have to ask yourself what humility means to you. What humility means to me is knowing that everything that I am, everything that I have is from Allah. Everything is from Allah. That's it. So when you buy a nice car, you buy a nice house, or you're able to go and support the masajid, you're able to do all those things, you're saying Alhamdulillah. The people that are receiving the check are saying Alhamdulillah, but you're saying Alhamdulillah even more because you're the one that is able to do that. So let us ask Allah to guide us, to protect us, and increase us in all that is good. and put barakah in our rizq, in our provisions. So let's work on those finances. And then finally, attitude. Allah says in Hadith Qudsi number 15 that I am as my servant thinks I am. I am as my servant thinks I am. So let's have a positive attitude about Allah. This is our Lord. This is Ar-Rahman. This is Ar-Rahim. This is Al-Ghani, Al-Mughni, Ar-Razaq, Al-Fatah, Al-Alim, Al-Shakur, Al-Sabur, Al-Nur, Dhul Jalali wal Ikram, Al-Hayyu, Al-Qayyum, Al-Ahad, Al-Wahid, Al-Samad. This is your Lord. This is your Lord and his attributes, to which he has described himself as. So now, what do you describe yourself as? What is your attitude? What's my attitude towards myself? And we have the Charles Swindoll attitude poem. Read it every day. Because you're in charge of your attitude, and that's FIFA. Then, of course, you have your emotional health, your emotions. Check in with yourself. What are 5 things that you're thankful for right now at this moment? Write it down. Who are 5 people that you're grateful for and thankful for? Write that down and send them a text and tell them thank you. I'm grateful for you. People love getting texts like that. I know I do. Excuse me. Hey, Hamza, I'm grateful that you did X, Y, Z. I'm grateful that you took the time today to do X, Y, Z. Allahu Akbar. So what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? And of course, alhamdulillah, we're in the transition remix, and we're on step 6. And we started with step 1, officially retiring. We took a break at step 2. We created a schedule and a plan at step 3. We got a mentor at step 4. We evaluated our overall health at step 5. And now here at FIFA, step 6. Step 6. And as we leave step 5, you see the big, beautiful trailer that we've attached, consciousness. So after step 1, we got the gratitude trailer. After step 2, we got the patience trailer. After step 3, we got the consistency trailer. After step 4, we got the humility trailer. After step 5, we got the consciousness. And now we're working on our circle. We're working on our circle with Allah's permission. Bismillah ta'ala, with Allah's permission. So again, this is your brother Hamza Abdullah checking in on Transition Remix. This is the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Let's go hard. Let's go hard. It's time to go hard. It's time to pick up the pace. Let's pick up the pace. Let's pick up the pace as we're evaluating our circle. We evaluate that circle. Family, identity, finances, attitude, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, with Allah's permission. Family, identity, finances, attitude. The people and individuals in your circle are either leading you closer to God or to your goals. So ask yourself that. Go to the individuals that you regularly text, that you regularly encounter, and ask yourself, are they bringing me closer to Allah or to my goals? And if they're not, delete the whole chat. Delete the whole chat. And then the next time that they text you or they call you, remind them of Allah and see what happens. See what they say. Hey man, I'm about to go to the mosque tonight. You want to join me? See what they say. Hey, I'm working on this project. I need your assistance. See what they say. But if someone is not actively helping you accomplish your goals or actively helping you getting closer to Allah, they're doing the opposite. It hurts. But this is where controlling your circle is, with Allah's permission. So again, thank you very much for joining me. Episode 19, Controlling Your Circle, Step 6, Bi'idhnillah ta'ala. Ask Allah to accept this all from us. Ask Allah to allow us to catch the night of power, to witness the night of power, to be in the night of power and be closest to Him. I ask Allah to answer all of your du'as, to heal your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, to bless you with beautiful connections that lead closer to Him. I ask that He accept this from us all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.